How goes it, good people? My last video was about how I believe synchronicity relates to schizophrenia, and how not understanding it is what actually leads to being crazy as fuck. So this video will be me more elaborating on synchronicity a bit more, because I firmly believe it is very important for people to truly understand, and not just people that wouldn't understand it otherwise, be insane without truly getting it, but all people. Synchronicity is, at its essence, to be purposely vague and cryptic, everything. I gave a few examples in my last two videos, like music or the television seemingly commenting on your life, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, etc. But by far and large, it's much more than that. I'll give an example that Carl Jung gave in his book on the subject. In the book, Jung talked about working with a patient. She didn't seem to be getting any better no matter what he did, but then she had a dream of a golden scarab beetle. At the time she was explaining this dream to him, he heard tapping at the window. He opened it up, and what do you know? Into his hand flew the closest thing in that region to a golden scarab beetle. The Roach Schaefer, or Chaffer, or some shit. He gives other examples in his book, like running into things everywhere that had to do with fish, but the real takeaway from that example of an example is that synchronicity is perhaps more than anything a symbolic thing. It can be bluntly symbolic, so much so that it's more than a tad uncomfortable to notice, and it can also be super abstractly symbolic, sometimes to where it's very hard to get a clear picture of what it's symbolizing. But one way I've thought about recently to explain how synchronicity works, but really probably more life in general, is to liken it to a dream. Life works exactly like a dream. Literally. First off, in a dream you usually aren't aware you're dreaming. Yes, sometimes you are, and you can do fun or weird things all you fucking want. But in this dream that we'll call life, let's assume that we can't control reality in the same way we can a lucid dream. But, and a very important but here, we still do actually control and influence it, but not in the way you probably expect. It's a way more subtle and limited controlling than a lucid dream, and to be honest, it's kind of a bitch that you do control shit because you control shit 24/7 whether you want to or are aware of it or not, which can be, and has been for me on a number of occasions, a super scary thing. To be aware of all the consequences of the smallest details, and there are plenty, trust me, when you're just going about your daily life can be overwhelming, to put it nicely. Next, in a dream, you don't usually notice how pretty much everything in it is a symbolic representation of your thoughts in your life. When you wake up, you can tell a friend, "Wow, Timmy, my dream this morning was fucking weird. I dreamed these random ass things and scenarios which I can see now that I am awake, representing my thoughts and feelings on a very specific and personal subject. My gosh, isn't that spectacular?" And as such, Timmy would reply, "Timmy," which, of course, as everyone knows, is the proper response to such a revelation. I'm sorry, my jokes suck. I'm not good at impressions. So now, put those two simple concepts together, a limited controlling of reality and everything in that reality being a symbolic representation of your psyche, and what do you have? A dream world. And, as crazy as it sounds, the real world. But it's not just representation of your psyche or mine, it's everyone's, and all at once, all connected in a cacophonous symphony, serenading the majority of humanity with a lullaby of lies whilst they sleep. Anywho, that's it for this video, so see you next time when I'll go even deeper into the subject and how it's atemporal. Oh, and don't forget to bring a towel, and also like, subscribe, and share. Thanks, buddy. Peace.